Okay, it's September 1st, 2017. This is a wrap-up for the week. We're still trading Bitcoin dollar through the weekend. I'm going to start off with what we did with non-farm payrolls. Actually, the first trade was the euro dollar. So the euro dollar, this was non-farm payrolls. This is a 1 hour time frame, euro dollar. I traded this going long from 1.1927 and closed. Now, in a trade like this, in a situation as we were talking about earlier, I have a dedicated chat room for some of my private coaching students that I talk about these trades before we head into them, we have a plan. And very often with a trade like this, we've got a really small trading range. We're looking at the 1 hour time frame. That's pretty significant. And there really wasn't a whole lot to trade to other than probably psychological levels. So as this one was breaking out and we were trading it back up, 80 was the psychological level. And my execution in the close was 1.1977. On this trade for approximately 50, just under 51 pips on this trade. So the euro dollar. Now there was a complete reversal. It took a little while. It was a sort of a drop after some of the news from the eurozone about the euro, and then from that point it just kind of continued to slowly fall over. I've seen some reports after the market's been closed that the dollar's just really strong and that's why all this happened, but they sort of leave out some of the information as to why the euro dollar reversed. The pound dollar ultimately ended up turning around, but it didn't react as quickly or at the same time. You probably saw that if you traded that. So I did not sell this. I did not turn around and immediately short this, and I don't trade that way. So I know a lot of guys will probably say, oh, we got in long here and we took profits here and then we turn around and we sold it right back down. That's not always possible to do. Very often when we were already out of this trade, but very often when something like that happens and you see things change, well, first of all, you're glad and happy that you stuck to the plan. The plan was we're going to go long based on the data, and we had a target. So we already knew what we were doing. But that ensures, or helps to ensure, that if you ever find yourself in a situation where things turn around, because they do, they don't always, but they can turn around and it can happen like this. Now, to a certain degree, I've been trading long enough that I know that when something like this happens after one report and then another comment or statement is released that turns the market around like this. So in other words, you've got this move off non-farm payrolls and it moves straight up, and then strategically this other piece of news, this data, this announcement comes out about the euro, and that immediately causes the whole thing to turn around and roll right back over again. So very often you can see how some of these events, even though they're not scheduled on a calendar, when they hit the market, they're sort of timed. To a certain degree, even if it's said that people don't know before non-farm payrolls data is released, which we hope that that's the case, either way, whoever's in charge of releasing the news on the data on the euro, it knows that it's probably a good idea to wait until after non-farm payrolls is released. I'm not saying that you can predict that beforehand. Nobody could really know that something like that was going to happen because it wasn't scheduled. But what I'm saying is, by getting into a trade and having a specific take profit level, because I know we had this conversation because I did have a coaching student in my coaching class who actually thought this was going to continue even though we had a dedicated target of 80. Now I know that it hit 81 on this MetaTrader platform, and that was it. And a lot of people will say to me, well, how did you know that? How did you know it was going to happen? Well, first of all, as I've said, I've been trading for a long time, but I have a plan. I always have a plan before I get into a trade. If I don't have a target, then I won't take the trade. I've always said that, and I highly recommend that you stick to a plan like that. I know how difficult it is. In the heat of the moment, it looks like it's going to keep on going. You don't anticipate anything else that's going to change the direction here, but this is a perfect example of that possibility. You have to stick to your trading plan. When we got out of this trade with 51 pips, the guy, my coaching student who was in the classroom, chat room, who was holding on too long and didn't take my recommendation, even though I said we've got to take profits here, this is it, that I'm not going to hold on to it any longer than that. I earned what I wanted, is what I basically was trying to tell him. I'm done with the trade. I don't care if it goes another 30, 40 more points. He was thinking it was going to clear the 1.220 level. But again, it's not about trying to be right. It's about making money. That's what it all comes down to. Enough pain, enough making mistakes like that, and you're going to realize that it's better to just get in and take the profits that you were already anticipating before you got into the trade. You'll know if the trade and the trend is going to continue going further. You'll know that you're good. You'll know that you're safe. But the other thing that I highly recommend anybody do, now this is not something that I can do with the trade copier, but I highly recommend that if you're going to trade manually, scale out of the positions. With the trade copier, it's not always possible to scale out of the position, because if I was to take partial profits, Not every broker's platform is going to allow you to do that. It's going to change it. So it's always one entry, one target. So again, stick to the plan. That's exactly what we did here. I realized that it rolled over, but we did not sell the euro dollar afterwards. The other trade that I had, the other currency trade, was this one here. After that happened and the rollover occurred with the euro dollar and the dollar bounced and took off again, it was pretty obvious once the dollar yen, this is a dollar yen, this is a second trade that I took in the Forex. The entry here was at 110.06 and the target or the take profit level was 110.44. Now my target initially was 110.40, but I let it move just a little bit further and then closed the trade, called the trade to be closed at 110.44. Again, these trades are actually the ones that I'm showing you. Not only am I trading these with my coaching students and my coaching class, it's a high-end coaching program. It costs thousands of dollars to get into the program, and that's why I offer the trade copier. The trade copier duplicates my trades when I'm executing these trades like this. So these trades that I'm showing you were actually executed with the trade copier. Now we do have a Bitcoin trade still open. The entry here was 47.33 and it is currently at 48.97. And we're up well over 152 points now on Bitcoin dollar. This is another trade that we're going to continue to manage through the weekend. Now, as you know, Bitcoin doesn't stop. It just keeps rolling right through the weekend. And I've got a target at 5,000. That's probably where I'm going to lock in this trade that we entered here at 47.33. Now, you probably watched a video that I made just a couple of days ago. We picked up a few hundred points on that Bitcoin trade going long, and I said that we were going to re-enter the next time we got a solid signal. This is a 30-minute chart, but I'm also applying my strategy, and the way that I look for confirmation of these trade signals, I'm using the daily, the 4-hour, the 1-hour as well to give me that additional source of confirmation. Make sure we're not running into major areas of resistance or support, things like that whenever I'm trading these breakouts. So again, we're safe here. I expect that it's probably going to bounce around. I might end up locking profits here at 4,900 when it gets back up there again, if it appears to not go any further, because this is a good trade. There's no reason to give up the profits here on this trade from 47.33 and then watch it turn around and roll right back over again and retest this low and sit there through the weekend. We're up a lot of money here on this Bitcoin dollar trade. So again, if it pops back up and approaches the 4,900 and it appears to be stalling, then I'm going to lock in profits there. If it blows through the 49, I think it went up as high on this chart here, 49.11. Again, 5,000 is the target, and I expect that it will probably continue. The weekends don't, slow this one down, and it could most likely continue right through the 5,000 level. But I'll watch it. I'll watch it closely. Again, I'm not going to give back profits. I'm not going to sit here open, hold this trade and leave it open and walk away and then hope that it just keeps going and then come back later on and notice that it's all the way back down here in 46 area. So again, this is not me calling a trade for you to go long now from 48.97 all the way to 5,000. I mean, it certainly can, but my suggestion is you get in at the right location. I don't recommend chasing trades. It's very hard to sort of predict where the retracement and the pullback, how deep that pullback is going to go. If you get in at these levels, but we got in down here at 47.33, your stop loss is just massive. It's huge. We already know where our stop loss was before we got into the trade, and that was something that we were willing to afford risking at that point. But in order for you to validate that this trade is going to continue to go higher or turn around and reverse and not go any higher than the low just made a few hours ago, you would have to put an extremely large stop loss, and I don't recommend doing that. One of the best ways to ensure that you can use or minimize the stop loss, if you've got a good trading system in place, is to make sure that you get in at the right location. Don't hesitate, don't wait. Get in at the right location and set your stop. You know what the stop is according to that entry. Don't, fear and wait and let it roll up a little bit and then hesitate and then say, okay, I'll wait till it goes up just a little bit more. I know where my entry is, but I'm going to let it go up a little bit more. At that point, you're giving too much of the profits away, and you're also making your stop loss larger by doing that. You've got to have faith in your trading system and know that what you're doing is the right thing and take the trade. So again, I'm going to continue to watch it here. Enough of that. So we're clearly over 240 points for the day. between the euro dollar, dollar yen, and the Bitcoin dollar trade. So we're going to continue to trade this. Now, if I lock in profits at 49, right around there, if it looks like it's going to stall, and then later on tonight, Saturday or Sunday, it looks like it's going to pick back up and start tearing right through 5,000, I'm going to get right back into the trade again. Yes, I do trade the Bitcoin dollar all through the weekend. It says 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year that I'm watching the Bitcoin dollar BTCUSD on the MetaTrader platform. All of these trades are executed with the best Forex trade copier.